What if I told you that one of NASCAR's most beloved icons once nearly lost it all? Before the $300 million empire, before the sprawling 200-acre estate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made a decision that could have destroyed everything his family had built. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the untold financial journey of NASCAR's favorite son, revealing the high-stakes gambles, silent struggles, and brilliant business moves that racing fans have never heard before. While millions watched him dominate the track, nobody saw the financial chess match playing out behind the scenes. By the end of this exposé, you'll understand why Dale Jr.'s greatest victory wasn't won behind the wheel, but in boardrooms and back offices where fortunes are truly made. Growing up as the son of NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt Sr. came with expectations that would crush most people. What fans don't realize is that Dale Jr. was initially hesitant to follow in his father's tire tracks. In fact, according to insiders, young Dale originally pursued automotive technology not to race, but because he feared he might need a real job if racing didn't pan out. This practical mindset would later become the foundation of his financial empire. Unlike many athletes who squander their earnings, Dale Jr. approached his wealth with the same calculated precision he showed on the track. While collecting trophies on Sundays, Monday through Friday, he was strategically building a business portfolio that would eventually eclipse his racing income. At the height of his racing career, Dale Jr. was pulling in between $25 to $30 million annually, making him NASCAR's highest-paid driver from 2008 to 2015. But here's what the cameras never captured. Dale was reinvesting nearly 80% of his earnings back into business ventures that experts considered extremely risky at the time. The biggest gamble? JR Motorsports, his racing team that initially hemorrhaged money. Everyone thought I was crazy, Dale once confided to a close associate. They said owning a team would bankrupt me. For the first 3 years, the venture operated deeply in the red, with Dale personally covering millions in losses against the advice of financial experts. That decision, which seemed financially reckless at the time, has now become one of his most valuable assets, transforming from a money pit into a cornerstone of his $300 million empire. While fans marvel at his 200-acre Mooresville estate with its go-kart track and collection of vintage cars, few know about Dale Jr.'s strategic real estate investments across the American South. Sources close to the racing star reveal he has quietly amassed over 40 commercial properties in 5 states, many purchased during the 2008 recession when prices bottomed out. Dale saw opportunity when everyone else saw disaster, says a former business partner who requested anonymity. He was buying prime commercial real estate at 30 cents on the dollar while other celebrities were selling their assets in panic. These properties now generate an estimated $15 million in annual passive income, money that continues flowing whether he's on the track or not. When Dale Jr. transitioned from driver to broadcaster, fans viewed it as a natural evolution for the charismatic racer. What they didn't see was the brilliant contract negotiation happening behind closed doors. Industry insiders report that Dale's broadcasting agreement with NBC Sports contains unprecedented profit-sharing clauses tied to advertising revenue that his segments generate. This means that unlike other retired athletes who simply collect a salary, Dale Jr. essentially owns a percentage of the commercial airtime during his segments, a deal structure that has never been replicated in sports broadcasting. Perhaps the most closely guarded secret involves Dale's inheritance following his father's tragic death in 2001. Contrary to public assumption, Dale Jr. did not immediately receive a windfall. In fact, complicated estate planning issues created a financial strain that Dale Jr. never publicly discussed. There were years right after his father's passing where Dale was asset-rich but cash-poor, reveals a longtime family friend. He was worth millions on paper but sometimes struggled with liquidity. This little-known financial pressure forced Dale Jr. to become more financially savvy than most athletes, learning hard lessons about wealth management that would later serve him well. While Dale Jr.'s charitable foundation is well known, what remains hidden is the extent of his anonymous giving. According to those in his inner circle, Dale Jr. has a strict policy about unpublicized donations that often exceed his public charitable work. One former assistant claims that Dale personally covers medical expenses for several families of former racing crew members who fell on hard times, with the strict condition that his involvement never be disclosed. These private acts of generosity reportedly account for millions in annual giving that never appear in public records. While traditional NASCAR fans celebrate Dale's on-track achievements, they're largely unaware of his tech investments that have quietly become some of his most valuable assets. Dale was an early investor in several racing simulation platforms and esports teams, ventures that initially seemed like hobbies but have exploded in value as digital racing has gained mainstream popularity. Dale saw the digital future of racing before most of the industry did, explains a tech entrepreneur who partnered with Earnhardt on a venture in 2015. He understood that the next generation of race fans would experience the sport differently. His foresight led to early investments in technologies that are now standard in racing, positioning him to profit from the sport's digital evolution. Dale Jr. has masterfully leveraged his name and likeness in ways that continue to generate substantial revenue streams. Unlike many athletes who sign away rights for quick paydays, Dale maintains strict control over his personal brand with specific limited licensing agreements that typically include revenue sharing rather than flat fees. This strategy has created what business analysts call perpetual income, money that continues flowing regardless of his active participation in the sport. His merchandise continues to outsell many active drivers years after his retirement. Today, with a net worth of $300 million, Dale Earnhardt Jr. isn't just wealthy by NASCAR standards. He's become one of America's most successful athlete entrepreneurs. Yet despite his financial success, those close to him say he remains surprisingly frugal in certain aspects of his life, still changing the oil in his own cars and negotiating deals personally rather than delegating to an army of agents. As for the future, sources close to Dale Jr. reveal he's quietly assembling a diversified investment portfolio designed to reach the billion-dollar mark within the next decade, a goal that would make him the first NASCAR driver to join the billionaire ranks. The true story of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s fortune isn't just about inheriting a famous name or winning races. It's about strategic vision, calculated risks, and business acumen that fans rarely glimpse. While they cheered his on-track victories, his greatest achievements may have happened far from public view, in the quiet decisions that transformed racing success into lasting wealth. For a man who made his name turning left at 200 miles per hour, Dale Jr.'s most impressive feat might be navigating the treacherous financial turns that derail so many professional athletes. And that might be his most valuable legacy of all, showing that in wealth as in racing, it's not just about how fast you go, but how smartly you drive.
Hailie Deegan making a name for herself in the racing world, full-time here in ARCA this year. What's the big term plan for you?
Man, it's been crazy, just the ARCA series, so many cool tracks that we get to go to, but long term, obviously, the end goal is to make it to the Cup Series, which any racer here, that's their end goal. So I know we all got the same thing in mind, but yeah, it's a work in progress, learning curve. It's going to take time, a lot of development.
The roar of engines, the smell of burning rubber, the checkered flag waving in the distance. NASCAR, a world dominated by male drivers for decades. But there's one name challenging the status quo, a name that makes NASCAR executives nervous, a name they'd prefer you didn't look too closely at, Hailie Deegan. At just 21 years old, this California native isn't just breaking records. She's shattering the entire NASCAR paradigm. But her journey to the top hasn't been the fairy tale NASCAR's marketing team wants you to believe. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what NASCAR doesn't want you to know about Hailie Deegan, the untold struggles, the family legacy they downplay, and the raw determination that threatens to revolutionize the sport forever. Most racing fans know Hailie Deegan as the promising young talent in the Craftsman Truck Series, driving the number 19 Monster Energy Toyota Camry. What they don't know is that Hailie's path to NASCAR was predetermined before she could even walk. Born into motorsport royalty, Hailie's father isn't just any dad, he's Brian Deegan, the motocross legend and co-founder of Metal Militia. NASCAR's carefully crafted narrative often minimizes this connection, preferring to paint Hailie as a self-made prodigy rather than acknowledge the motorsport dynasty she comes from. Why? Because NASCAR thrives on the small-town hero narrative, the notion that anyone from anywhere can make it to the top with enough grit and determination. The reality of racing's dynastic nature doesn't fit neatly into this marketing strategy. What NASCAR doesn't advertise is that by age 7, while most kids were learning to ride bikes without training wheels, Hailie was already dominating dirt tracks. By 8, she had graduated to trophy cart racing. And on her high school graduation day, she skipped the ceremony to compete in a race. This isn't just passion, it's programming. The Deegan family doesn't just race. They live and breathe speed, danger, and competition. But here's what really makes NASCAR executives uncomfortable. Hailie Deegan isn't playing by their rules. In 2018, she made history by becoming the first woman to win a NASCAR K&N Pro Series race. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not this soon, not this dramatically. Female drivers in NASCAR have traditionally been positioned as novelties, not champions. They're marketed for their appearance first, talent second. Hailie flipped that script, forcing NASCAR to reckon with a female driver who couldn't be relegated to female driver status. She was simply a winner. And then there's the money. The racing industry has a vested interest in maintaining the myth that success comes primarily through talent rather than financial backing. The uncomfortable truth? Racing is one of the most expensive sports to break into. While NASCAR happily promotes Hailie's $450,000 per season salary, what they don't emphasize is the millions required to get to that point. From her earliest dirt bike days through multiple racing series, the Deegan family's investment in Hailie's career likely reaches into seven figures. This is the dark secret of motorsports that organizations like NASCAR prefer to keep quiet. The astronomical financial barriers to entry that keep talented drivers from disadvantaged backgrounds from ever getting a shot. Then there's Hailie's social media empire, an aspect of her career that makes traditional NASCAR executives deeply uncomfortable. With over 1.3 million followers across platforms, Hailie isn't just a driver. She's a brand, a content creator, and a direct-to-fan marketing powerhouse. She doesn't need NASCAR's permission to speak to her audience. This direct connection threatens the traditional power dynamics in racing, where drivers were expected to be grateful, compliant brand ambassadors who stayed on message. Hailie represents the new generation drivers who build their own platforms and bring their own audiences to the sport, rather than the other way around. Her YouTube presence with her family gives fans unprecedented access to life behind the scenes. No carefully staged photo ops, no scripted interviews, just raw, unfiltered reality that NASCAR can't control. And let's talk about what really makes NASCAR nervous: Hailie's potential to become bigger than the sport itself. In racing's hierarchy, the sport has always been positioned above any individual driver. Stars come and go, but NASCAR remains. Hailie challenges this order. With her crossover appeal, social media presence, and unique position as a groundbreaking female driver, she has the potential to transcend NASCAR entirely. This explains the organization's careful, measured promotion of her career. They want her success, but not too much, not too fast, and certainly not on her terms. Behind the glamorous race day appearances lies another reality NASCAR rarely showcases: the physical toll of racing. Hailie's commitment to fitness isn't just about looking good for sponsors. It's about survival. Racing at 180 miles per hour generates G-forces comparable to what fighter pilots experience. The physical strain is immense, and the danger ever present. NASCAR's sanitized presentation of racing glosses over these harsh realities, preferring to focus on the spectacle rather than the sacrifice. For female drivers like Hailie, this physical challenge comes with added scrutiny. Every crash, every mistake is magnified through the lens of gender, a burden male drivers never face. This is the pressure cooker environment Hailie navigates daily, a reality NASCAR's polished promotional videos conveniently omit. Then there's her personal life, including a relationship with fellow racer Chase Cabre and a frightening stalker incident that NASCAR's PR machine worked overtime to minimize. The stalker situation revealed an uncomfortable truth about female athletes in the public eye. They face dangers their male counterparts rarely encounter. NASCAR's response? Downplay. Move on. Keep smiling for the cameras. Hailie and Chase's relationship exemplifies racing's close-knit culture, living together in Mooresville, North Carolina, racing's heartland, in a home whose value remains conspicuously undisclosed. What truly threatens NASCAR is what Deegan represents: change itself. In this tradition-bound sport resistant to evolution, Hailie embodies racing's future. Young, media-savvy, and unapologetically authentic, she's the new breed of NASCAR star who doesn't need the organization as much as it needs her. Her Haley's Holiday Haul charity, delivering thousands of pounds of food to those in need, demonstrates her understanding that modern athletes must transcend their sport, building personal fan loyalty that belongs to her, not NASCAR. So what doesn't NASCAR want you to know about Hailie Deegan? That she's rewriting the rules of what it means to be a racing star in the 21st century, that she represents both the greatest opportunity and the greatest threat to racing status quo, that her success could forever change who gets to compete at the highest levels of motorsport. Hailie Deegan isn't just racing against other drivers on the track. She's racing against an entire system designed to control, contain, and capitalize on talent while maintaining the power dynamics that have defined NASCAR for generations. And that perhaps is what they fear most of all. What do you think about Hailie Deegan's impact on NASCAR? Will she change the sport forever, or will the system ultimately maintain control? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the world of motorsports.
It's $100 million. Maybe you guys should get some money together, and I'll go down and get it, and you guys can buy me some tickets too.
You got a better chance of getting struck by lightning.
It's easy to get struck by lightning. Hold a big metal pole up in a rainstorm.
Reality star collapses in courtroom. The beloved Pawn Stars personality Austin "Chumlee" Russell faced a shocking moment when he fell unconscious during his own sentencing hearing. But what led to this dramatic courtroom scene? From pawn shop worker to millionaire TV star to facing 20 years in prison, Chumlee's wild journey took the most unexpected turn when police raided his Las Vegas mansion. Guns, drugs, and a secret double life? The lovable reality TV personality had a shocking dark side that nobody saw coming. For over a decade, Austin "Chumlee" Russell has been one of reality television's most beloved personalities. Known for his laid-back attitude and comedic timing on History Channel's Pawn Stars, Chumlee quickly became a fan favorite and household name. What began as a job at his friend Corey Harrison's family pawn shop turned into television stardom when Pawn Stars premiered. The show became a cable TV phenomenon, producing over 500 episodes and making Chumlee an unexpected breakout star. Despite being initially cast as the shop's comic relief, Chumlee proved his value by developing expertise in specific collectibles. His genuine personality and emotional connection with viewers helped cement his place in reality TV history. But as Chumlee's fame grew, so did the pressure. In his own words, "I've lived two completely different lives. Fame has a way of making you feel invincible. I was determined to enjoy every moment, especially when people recognized me everywhere I went. That fame translated into serious money." Chumlee leveraged his celebrity status into multiple business ventures, including a candy shop on the Las Vegas Strip and a personal clothing line. His social media showcased a life of luxury, expensive cars, a mansion, and an extensive collection of sneakers and jewelry. However, behind this carefully crafted public image, a troubling reality was taking shape. "I went from being an ordinary guy to someone who couldn't go to Walmart without taking 500 photos. Chumlee once revealed in a rare candid interview, "It drove me crazy. I turned to things to help me deal, and it almost cost me everything." The gap between his lovable on-screen persona and his private life continued to widen. Then, in March 2016, everything came crashing down. Las Vegas police raided Chumlee's mansion. Initially connected to a sexual assault investigation, what officers discovered inside led to charges that shocked fans across the country. According to court records, police found multiple firearms, including assault rifles, along with drugs and drug paraphernalia. The search warrant, initially executed for an unrelated investigation, uncovered a side of Chumlee that nobody had seen on television. While no sexual assault charges were filed due to insufficient evidence, prosecutors built a strong case on multiple felony weapons and drug charges. If convicted on all counts, Chumlee faced up to 20 years in prison. The legal battle that followed captivated both entertainment news and Chumlee's millions of fans. As he entered the courtroom for his trial, camera flashes illuminated his somber expression. Notably absent were his Pawn Stars co-stars. Prosecutors painted a damning picture, presenting evidence of what they described as serious violations of controlled substance and firearms laws. Photos displayed in court showed the extent of items seized from Chumlee's home, causing the reality star to stare at the floor and shake his head. Chumlee's defense team argued that their client had no prior criminal record and that his fame had clouded his judgment, making it difficult to distinguish between normal and excessive behavior. They emphasized that he never intended to harm anyone and had maintained a positive public image in many ways. As the trial progressed, plea negotiations became central to the proceedings. The stakes couldn't have been higher, not just Chumlee's personal freedom, but his entire career and the millions of dollars that came with it. On the final day of proceedings, the courtroom was packed with Pawn Stars fans, some holding supportive signs. Judge Michael Davidson reviewed the plea agreement reached between prosecution and defense teams. Chumlee had pleaded guilty to 1 firearms charge and 1 minor drug offense, with the remaining charges dropped as part of the agreement. Though his legal team exchanged cautious glances, Chumlee remained tense.